Sup, my name is Ryu for the Yugioh Council. Welcome to the top 10 hand traps countdown, the top 10 countdown of the top 10 hand traps so far. Keep in mind, so far. And these are my choices, so make sure to leave your choices down below. And if you feel I left anything out, like Tragodia, because he's not on the list, but he's number 11 in our hearts. Alright, in all seriousness, Subscriber Showcase drops tomorrow, so let's get this list underway. In at number 10 is Battle Fader, because I feel a lot of people don't pay attention to Battle Fader anymore, and it makes me sad. Because remember how I constantly show once in a while a couple like tribute monsters that only require one tribute? I'm like, look how good these are. You should pay attention to these, right? Battle Fader is the answer, because not only are you giving protection, but you can tribute it. And if you don't want to tribute it, you can synchro with it. And that's good for a deck like Synchrons that need that one turn momentum to stop your opponent from OTKing you, and it's a good card for their side because you stop the battle and then you can make a play off of it. Making a play off of it equals a Quasar, and that's always a good thing. Moving on. Oh wait, we do have Trag on the list. Is at number 9. My apologies, he's at number 9. I didn't even see it there. My own handwriting so bad. In at number 9 is Tragodia. Big, hulking, insect-looking monster. Gain 600 for every card in your hand. Can be dropped when you take battle damage. Can manipulate its level. And can steal monsters. I think some people forget about that. Tragodia only requires you discarding a monster with the same level, so mirror matches are hilarious. If you play a deck that has multiple levels, like Cosmos, then you can get the most benefit from it. And yes, I just said Cosmos plus Tragodia would actually be a pretty good match in heaven, because hey, you can't OTK me in the mirror and I can steal your monsters and make Exceed plays. Anyways, besides giving a deck that doesn't need it more support, Tragodia also can be used in stuff like Chaos Dragons and Lightsworn to protect yourself before you get wrecked by yourself. But in all seriousness, it gets the most benefit from having tons of cards in its hands, but the reason it makes on this list is because level manipulation is always a good thing for any deck that's trying to make Exceeds or Synchros. It stops OTKs, which slows down the game. That's kind of a running theme on the first part of this. And Tragodia can also steal monsters, which is always a good thing, and it's also dark fuel for Dark Arm, BLS, or anything else you wish to put in. So Tragodia definitely is going to get the number 9 spot, because I honestly feel it deserves the number 9 spot. In at number 8 is Flying Sea. You want to stop your opponent from Exceed summoning. You don't want them going off. You don't want them going on King of the Pharaoh Imp in Pepe. You don't want them going to a search. Flying Sea. As I was saying before the clock struck, they go for the search in Pepe. You can drop it. You can say no Exceed there. You can basically just say no rank 4s. No thank you. But if your opponent's playing something like Synchro, that's a downside of Flying Sea. But Flying Sea mainly is more side deck material than anything. You may see it main deck in a few decks, like Burning Abyss and whatnot, if they need to, just to give them a little bit of advantage over you. But I mean, Flying Sea it's an interesting card to say the least, because here's the thing about Flying Sea. You're giving it to your opponent so they can make use of it, so you have to be very, very careful what the hell you give them. Because if your opponent has a deck that can manipulate Flying Sea to their advantage, then they're not really affected by it, and that's an issue. Alright, number 7, Rainbow Kuriboh. Another card that I feel people don't, seem to pay attention. Regular Kuriboh. Hey, I mentioned regular Kuriboh. Real quick upon that, regular Kuriboh, the original OG Kuriboh, the one that Yugi uses, that's the original hand trap for this whole game. So you gotta pay your respects. But Rainbow Kuriboh has 2 effects, one from the hand, one from the grave. So not only is it sort of like a graveyard trap, like Breakthrough Skill I consider a graveyard trap. I know that's not even the actual definition of what it is, but I just like saying that because it sounds cool to me. But you also have the hand trap, because you're like, nope, you're not attacking. And then in the grave, nope, I'm special summoning. You have to attack it first. Rainbow Kuriboh is also level 1, also has that let me sync out for shit, also can be milled in Lightsworn or Infernoid or something along those lines that can actually utilize it better than I'm mentioning. Any deck that really can mill like crazy is going to want to use Rainbow Kuriboh to some degree when they're looking for defense. Because you're given 40 spots, maybe a little bit more. You know, they want to go 43. There's nothing wrong with that. Rainbow Kuriboh is a good spot, though, honestly. But I feel people forget about him quite a bit. All right, coming down at number 6 is Ghost, Ogre, and Snow Rabbit. Some of you are probably raging at me right now. Ryu, how could you? Well, the other 5, you'll see why. And again, this is my opinion. You can share yours down in the comments. In a nice manner. In the proper manner. Okay, proper manner works. Anyways, Ghost, Ogre, and Snow Rabbit. I just like joking around like that. Ghost, Ogre, and Snow Rabbit basically allows you to destroy a card that's activating. It's pretty self-explanatory. And she's level 3 tuner and psychic, which means emergency teleport gets her on this list a little bit higher than the rest of these guys. Because the rest of these guys ain't got nothing on her. Okay, some of them do, but Ghost, Ogre, and Snow Rabbit is pretty damn nifty. It's not the end-all, be-all hand trap that we really wanted it to be, but it is amazing regardless, especially against pendulums, because you can pop the scale, and then if you don't pop the scale, you can make like an Ancient Fairy Dragon if you're playing like a level 4 deck, and you can pop a field, which is, some decks run a field, and it's pretty popular to run, to blow up the fields. And if you don't blow up the fields, you could just make Ancient Sacred Wyvern if you got light monsters, which again is always a good thing with Notice running around. When they start screaming, "Notice me, senpai," you drop Ancient Sacred Wyvern, and then you punish them for it because your life points will be higher. But Ryu, I have to get over that back row before I drop the Ancient Sacred Twin Twist. But that's, again, different story for a different day. Ghost, Ogre, Snow Rabbit is amazing, though. If you've never played with it, you should play with it at least once. Trust me, it's worth it. My number 5 pick is Gores. Slows down the game, gives you a token. A lot of people just forget how viable Gores still really is when it comes to it. There's a lot of decks I could think off the top of my head that are not Chaos Dragons. Because Chaos Dragons is pretty self-explanatory that I would be the first one to say, Chaos Dragons, goddammit, Lightsworn, goddammit, Infernoid. Because you don't always have the field, and you don't always have shit face down, and if you play it smart enough, you can benefit off Gores. Which means that Gores plus Radiant equals BLS, and that's just always funny as fuck. You know, that's a thing you could do in there, just saying. And if you put like Glow Up Bulb in Infernoids, and you gotta be careful how much stuff you put in there. But you can go Omega, and then you can constantly, like, Cypher and lower Omega, and then constantly recycle stuff. Gores opens the doors for a lot of decks that normally wouldn't have the capability of doing what I just said. And it's not just that. They can go Leo, whatever. Gores is one of those, like, hand traps that people seem to want to just toss aside and be like, no, he's not good anymore. He's fucking amazing. If you're playing like Pepe or Pendulum deck, you're not gonna get a benefit off Gores. If you play anything that doesn't really like play that style, then you can play Gores because you could lose advantage. Cool, drop Gores. How you feeling? How you doing? But I mean, I just had to mention him at number 5. Number 4, Damage Juggler. Some people are gonna be mad at me for putting Damage Juggler down here. It's cool because he has 2 effects. He has the hand trap effect and he has the graveyard effect, like I was talking about before. He's got where you send him to the grave, you protect your life, and then you can banish him out, replace himself with a clown that's not him. And that's always good because you want to make your opponent laugh. When you make your opponent laugh, haha! No, I'm kidding. That was cheesy as fuck. In all seriousness, basically, Damage Juggler is one of those hand traps that is pretty much one of the better hand traps right now. If we're counting format, we're counting what to play currently. Damage Juggler's a beast right now. He's fucking he's like, oh, banless, you can't get me. You can't 420 no-scope snipe my ass. But eventually they will. I just had to make that joke. It's so cheesy, I'm sorry. Damage Juggler is one of those great hand traps that you can use in the grave too, just like Rainbow Kuriboh, and he replaces himself, which is disgusting and good at the same time. It's good. You should know it by now. Number 3 is the King of OTKs, Honest. And if you don't know what the King of OTKs means, BLS plus Honest is utterly disgusting in the good way. Because you will pretty much get double attack with power boost, and the honest plays are just fucking hilarious at the end of the day. They really are. I've had one guy do that to me, and I was just like speechless on the floor. I was like just clapping my ass off. But Honest, in all seriousness, is one of the better hand traps as long as you have a light monster. It's pretty much the only hand trap on this entire list that requires another card to really be used. And when you think about it, you have to have a light monster on the field in order to use it. Otherwise, what? You can't use it. That's the only downside to them. But with stuff like Zephyr and everything like that, you got a little bit stronger, just a little bit. I mean, Honest is always going to be that one hand trap that we loathe. We love it and we hate it at the same time, and it's just one of those moments you just like, okay, I can respect Ryu for putting it at 3, or no, I can't respect him for putting it at number 3 because it should be number 1. It's so fucking good. No. My number 2 spot is Maxi, one of my favorite hand traps because your opponent's special summons. Oh, I'll draw for all days. I'm gonna combine this with the other hand traps I'm running. How you like that? How you doing? I'm just gonna play that fucking Gores on your ass. I'm gonna play that track. I'm gonna play that Battle Fader. I'll play Swift Scarecrow or original Kuriboh. No, in all seriousness, Maxi is so fucking good. I don't even think I have to talk too much about it, but I will anyway. Maxi, opponent special summons, you drop in chain. As long as it starts a chain, you draw massive, and then your opponent has to sit there, and it becomes a psychological game. Do I want to give my opponent more cards? Do I know my opponent's deck to the point that he doesn't run Gores or whatnot? Does he not have any back row? And can I OTK him now? And will it be worth the giant push I want to do? And if the answer is like no, then they sit there and they don't make the play they were going to. And that's the greatest aspect of Maxi. When you first see it, like you just come into the game or whatnot, or the first time it's released, you're like, oh, that's not that great. And then when you think about it that way, you sit down, you look at it for the first time, you're like, holy shit. That's amazing, because either which way, you're stopping your opponent one way or another. It's hilarious. I love it. Honestly, Maxi number 2. So what beats Maxi, Honest, Damage Juggler, Gores, Ghost Ogre, Rainbow Kuriboh, Flying Sea, Trag, and Battle Fader? Well, I think the answer is Effect Veiler, because Effect Veiler is just, it hasn't been a pain in my side. It's been a godsend, if that's the only way I can really phrase that. It's been a Konami send, I guess, Yu-Gi-Oh send. It's been one of those things that I'm so grateful for having in this game, because you would think the other way, you know, when I normally talk about Effect Veiler, because it's such a good stun card. It's so simple. Discard, negate your opponent's monster effect, we're done here. And that changes the game so much. Her being level 1, and yes, it's a her. It's a female. She's got them, like, high heels going on and shit. She's got them princess fucking Cinderella heels going on. It's a girl. Effect Veiler, like, just, she's so fucking good in the sense that, well, I don't even have to completely talk about it again, but level 1 tuner, light, discard from hand, chaos food, nullify your opponent's monster effect, can make synchros out the ass with, can make level 5s, hit level 7s, hit level 8's 10 times easier than you ever would play in Red Eyes, and you can instantly make a fucking level 8 synchro, which changes the deck's whole aspect of play in a totally different direction. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Effect Veiler number 1 spot. Let me know what you guys want to see on future top 10 countdowns. I will make it happen. Someone did request top 10 dragons. That's probably gonna be out next week, unless there's something else that people want. Because I'm still wrapping up on it. There's a lot of dragons to go through, and I wanted to do it right. So thank you guys so much for watching and continue support. Even though I've been sick, thank you so much, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye!